I want to just give you a quote from this wonderful book by Bill Gammage, Gammage, called The Biggest Estate on Earth, How Aborigines Made Australia. And I just recommend, if you want to understand it, this is the book to read. People see in land, sea, this is page 130. People see in land, sea and sky proofs of the dreaming and their own past and future. Now this is the sentence. Every hill, plain, rock and tree is alive with story and imagery and filled with presences. Every hill, plain, rock and tree is alive with story and imagery and filled with presences. Now, I've taken a lot of pictures just recently in Alice Springs and of course a lot elsewhere too of nature. And I don't take hills and plains because they're too big. I can't relate to a mountain. It's too far away. It's too distant. It's too impersonal in a way. And as I said before, my father, when he was diagnosed with cancer, said about his brother, I realise now, as my brother said, it's the little things in life that matter. Little things like a blade of grass. So yes, so certainly every rock and tree is alive with story and imagery and filled with presences, yes. So, and I feel that with virtue, this is his words, but I do sort of feel that with virtually every click of the shutter, that it is alive, that it is somehow the capital A, L-I-V-E, exclamation mark, that it is alive and it is filled with imagery and it's filled with presence. This is what the Japanese, the Tendi, say the same thing. It's all over the world, it's the same thing. That it is alive. And that's what I try to convey with my photography, that this is alive and with spirit. And it's to be seen everywhere. As I say, there's no not God. It also depends on how you define God. And the purpose of photography is to present it in a way that makes it more obvious than is more visible. I used to, years ago, and do this with a rose. And I'd hold a rose, and I wrote a poem about this. I would, do you see God now, or whatever I said, you see? And I say no, but now, if I turn it like this, if I do that, if I do this, at some point I can make it for you more obvious. And now it's always been there. God, or whatever I like to call it, has been there all the time. But I can frame it in such a way. I can do this, I can do that. So now it is obvious. So the purpose of photography is not to make God, it's just to make God more obvious. And that's why I love taking pictures where they say, what are you taking a picture? Where's the picture there? So, that's the bit. I had a wonderful time up in Alice Springs because they have all these palm trees right near where we're staying, and there are these black sort of poles that come up at an angle to hold some awning or something. And I took dozens of pictures of just a little bit of the black pole and the leaves of the palm tree. And people, what are you taking a picture of? And I took dozens. Everyone was like I was in rapture. I spent 3 or 4 days taking them. Like everyone is. And there's a whole on the main street there, Todd Moore. Someone has put up one of the shops has put up a windmill, agricultural sort of windmill, as a sort of attract people to the shop. But if you can get the windmill, just part of the windmill, the blades, and right here this bit of a tree, and you've got incredible sort of imagery, and they both are alive, But if I say, look at They don't see anything. But I take the picture, they say, oh, now I see. And just this afternoon, we were leaving an art place, and just outside there was like this black sort of concrete pylon or something with just these little bits of white sort of spattered on it. But if you got it just right, say, and then one shot I just step back a bit, and there's one little tiny tip of a bit of green grass there. So, now hopefully someone will say, oh, gee, I just got a sense of the Spirit. I just got a sense that there's more to life. I just got a sense. My mother loves me more than I thought. That's what I wanted it to do.